So we're here, Main Street Menu Club podcast, with a very special guest, Mr. Mike White, the founder of GreaterLongIsland.com, and here with Jenny as usual as well. So we're excited today. I have a little intro that I prepared, so I'm going to read it to really just frame it in a good way.
Go for it.
I want to give Mike his day. So today we're diving into the world of digital journalism with a true innovator in the field, Mike White, founder of Greater Long Island. Mike's been a journalist his entire adult life, bringing 25 years of professional experience in newspapers, news websites, big and small, including the New York Post and the Daily News. In 2015, he launched Greater Patchogue, a hyperlocal news site that quickly grew into something much bigger. Today, it's called Greater Long Island, a thriving digital-first news network dedicated solely to telling the stories of Long Islanders. So in this episode, we're going to explore his journey, the challenges and the triumphs of modern journalism, and what it takes to build a news platform that truly resonates with the community. So, Mike White, welcome to the show.
Well done, Andrew.
Very exciting.
No corrections.
No corrections. So I guess the first thing I want to start with is I got that intro from ChatGPT.
Ah,
So
Yep.
very nice.
And I know you don't use ChatGPT to generate stories.
ChatGPT is spying on me.
It's
Knows
fine.
me better than I know myself.
But I think one of the things that you do well is really connect with people. With you have kind of that sixth sense of connecting with people, where I feel like this ChatGPT can grammatically kind of get it there, but there's a missing component, and I think that's kind of the secret sauce to what makes your articles so engaging. And I guess I wanted to start with kind of like, where does that come from? Like, what is that kind of that secret sauce that you feel like you're tapping into when you're writing a story and trying to make it appeal to people and go viral?
Sure. First, being a human being helps versus ChatGPT. I've tried ChatGPT and we've messed around with it. Excuse me. But it has a ways to go, I think, when it comes to storytelling. And the other issue with ChatGPT is you can't get in a car and go interview somebody and learn about their lives and what makes them tick, and then drive home and
Right.
it could scrape information about people.
Yeah.
It could approximate a news story, who, what, when, where, and why. But as far as like the storytelling and hooking a reader and keeping a reader and, emotionally connecting with a reader, I think it has a ways to go.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
If
I
it
think
even-
like the market will tell you whether or not it's interesting.
Mhm.
So something like ChatGPT can present something that seems like it might be engaging, but it's not until you get out in front of people and they tell you whether they care or not. And that's really the difference. That's the nuance. I think that's the human element, the human component of, you could read two stories side by side. One kind of gets shared and goes viral. One doesn't.
Mhm.
And it's almost hard to tell the difference, but that's really that human component. Like, you're connecting with the person and really understanding what their story is and what they're all about.
Yeah, I think, but study after study has showed that consumers of news and local news and national, whatever type of news outlet, respond to items, work that takes initiative. If it feels lazy, readers will move on. If they get the sense that this took an effort, then they'll respond to that in a positive way.
Interesting.
Yeah, even if it's just reading, staying on the story longer. And this is not a lot of this is like there's new components to what we do in local news and news in general, but a lot of it is just like tried and true stuff. This is stuff that the Daily News, New York Post figured out 80 years ago, how to engage an audience and keep
Right.
them reading.
Yeah, yeah,
Back then it was to sell newspapers.
yeah.
Once you sold a newspaper, now you have a captive audience and you could serve up what you like. But yeah, so a lot of the old rules hold true as far as what we do in local news. A lot of it's not much different from 50 years ago. And there are obviously some nuanced things that have changed.
Yeah. It's funny how you're referring to these techniques as like old, like from 100 years ago, because I think really only in the last few years with social media and with people really starting to become like personal brands and trying to get people to watch their videos, they're employing some of these techniques to become influencers.
Yeah.
And it's like the new thing. And you're like, no, this is from like
This
the 1880s.
is what we've been doing forever.
Yeah.
These are things that you would never really discuss with your buddies, how to engage an audience that was just for like news people,
Yeah.
you know? But now it's kind of these things that we've been in the news, and I say we, been doing for like a century or more, are now sort of permeating people's everyday life, you know, through like social media efforts.
Yeah. So I want to take it back to the beginning when you were thinking about starting your own thing. Take us back there a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your strategy. You started in Patchogue, and you kind of had the tools, but it's interesting what you did to kind of totally unique is kind of go into an area that was trending and then deploy this news website and employ these techniques. What was kind of like your game plan? Like how did take us through those beginning stages?
Sure. The game plan was simple. I had previously worked at the New York Post and the Daily News, and I've run weekly newspapers on a local level on Long Island. And the idea was pretty simple. Kind of take that big city sort of approach to the news, you know, engagement wise, and bring it to a local level where some of the ways of writing local news was kind of like boring and unengaging, you know, and it was like to a specific little niche audience that followed all these things in school board and town board. But I wanted to make it more fun and chatty, and again, it's not the most interesting idea. Take like the Daily News and just like make it all about Patchogue.
Yeah,
Like, it was fun.
But I mean, nobody was doing that, and really kind of still is not doing that. And B, you had like the know-how to do it. So how quickly from the time that you started doing this did you realize that you had something like in terms of page views and like kind of exposure and engagement?
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had been like teasing on social media and Instagram and Facebook, like the logo and that the website was coming and it would go live July 1st, 2015. So I spent the month of June just running around Patchogue and Medford and Bellport and Blue Point, like the coverage area, just writing stories about people, and people talk. So when the website got unveiled, I had like 20 great stories, or what I perceived to be great stories about the greater Patchogue area, and it just went crazy, just lit up Facebook, absolutely lit up Facebook.
Yeah.
And I had like 500 followers. So I knew then that I had the community watching, I guess, and then I just kept at it every day. Wake up and just crank 3, 4, 5 stories a day. Go to the village boards, the school boards, the civic meetings, the chamber meetings, but not to like write like what happened at the chamber meeting, but just to meet people and find like leads to what I thought would be a good story that would sort of go like viral in the village.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants their story told. What do you find to be like key things that you're looking for when you're writing a story?
Key things. Now, if you were to go one little slight difference between like the Post and the Daily News and what I was doing was, while the writing style I thought was similar, their mantra would be friction. So every story needs friction.
Oh, interesting.
Where I didn't really take that tack. Now you'll see that stories that go crazy on Facebook do so now because of the comments, and the comments are coming from the friction in the story. So when, you know, people want to be holier than thou from Silicon Valley about civic engagement, they've set it up where the stories that do best are when people are like fighting each other in the comments.
Yeah.
But for me, a great story was, it's hard to articulate it. subject matter, like human beings are like number one,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4, and 5. So if the person I'm interviewing has a good story, then I could certainly engage an audience that way.
Sure.
And that's just tried and true, catchy lead,
Mhm.
hook the reader, keep them on the page type of thing.
Right.
And I think things have changed in the consumption. While journalists and news writers have been doing this a long time, using the same precise formula, the consumption has changed. So you do have to work harder. The captive audience is gone. Um, uh, you would buy the paper and you want to read about restaurants, you look at their dining page, and where else you're going to look? You want to
Mhm.
learn about, movie reviews. But now the audience is like, now you got to really work hard. Like you cannot take anything for granted.
Yeah.
The audience is like the cat from the Pepe Le Pew skits, where they're just, you're just trying to squirrel away and go anywhere but you. So you have to really work hard to hook them, keep them on the page, and and provide a good reader experience. So as they're reading, they feel like they're learning, and it's easy, and the writing flows like water, and it's effortless. And when they're done, they say, "Oh, that was cool,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they want to come back.
Yeah, and I think there's a fine line between clickbait and newsworthy.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing you do well also is you're able to find the headline that gets the click, but at the same time, when they get to the actual content, they are satisfied with what made them click.
Yeah, you have to deliver on the headline.
Yeah, yeah.
If they feel like they got tricked, and I get tricked, and then I take note of what this was that tricked me, and I try never to be tricked
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I remember when I first got on Twitter, like Huffington Post would have these really they were clickbaity, but I didn't really know what that term was yet. And they kept like tricking me. Like I would read this thing and I'd get to the article and wouldn't ever deliver on the headline. So I just stopped following them and reading their stuff. Now there's a fine line in that you don't want to give away the entire story in the headline, because you do want people to read it and consume it, and that's how we make our money. So you don't want to give away the whole story in the headline, but you don't want to trick people either,
Yeah.
because they just don't like that, and no one would.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line. I've pushed it sometimes, but never to the point where it was kind of gross.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we all know what you're talking about there.
Well, I think some stories are just built to go viral also. So like, if you had good substance and now you apply your techniques, it's gonna do great. I was looking at some of your top stories ever. And these are not like paid advertising things, just your actual most read stories. And so I wanted to maybe have you go through some of those, reverse engineer them a little bit. Like, so for example, I think one of the big ones was the Growing Up Gotti House.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a virtual tour of the Growing Up Gotti House.
Yeah, that
And
sells itself.
That
Yeah.
got like 140,000 page views. So like, how do you find that story? Like, did you visualize the whole thing ahead of time, or like what were you doing?
Well, I could backtrack for a moment because I didn't really answer Jenny's question fully. I kind of gave you a negative answer. But there are some like story algebra. There are some components that make a good story, other than the person I talked to had a good story to tell.
Right.
Local people help. So I could write about a couple from Pat Med or Bayshore or Garden City that, I'm not going to make up too long a story, but when it's a local person that people know from the community and then they see him on the news, that helps. If it's 5 investors from New York City that opened a restaurant and don't want to give their names, and you have to say the ownership team, that doesn't help. So there are components like story algebra
Personable.
components.
Yeah.
And, you need a nice photo of the people or the couple. That's key. And so there's like little things like that.
Sure.
Like if you're a local person that everyone loves, your story's going to perform better
Right.
Yeah.
than if you're a kind of shadowy investment group from the
Right.
city.
Yeah, you're tying it directly to the community.
Yeah.
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 But anyway, so the Gotti House, I didn't write that story. I don't know if it says that I write that story.
I forget. I was just looking at the
Sure.
most read.
I believe Brian Harmon did that, and he's constantly scouring like real estate listings and Facebook groups and stuff to see what's trending and what's cool and what people are already sort of responding to, which kind of tells us that people respond to this.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for him, but I'm sure he found that mentioned somewhere on Facebook, like, hey, the Gotti house, honed in on it, knew that that's a experience that a lot of millennials had together watching this show, and then it would reverberate. Not only that, anyone, baby boomers or Gen Xers know who John Gotti is and his family, so it had that name recognition for sure.
Right, the history of it.
Well, the virtual tour component, was that something that was an idea that you guys had?
The virtual tours have been when we'll like write about the virtual tours have become more common. So it's kind of like, all right, there's a house that's for sale in Old Westbury that JLo used to own or something like that'll help. But what we found is that people were just going to the virtual, like they were like reading it, but like the virtual tours were getting watched. So then we just kind of like reversed the headline, like virtual tour : and then the headline to kind of like draw people's attention that there's a little, you could kind of see inside this place.
Yeah. People
So
love the visuals.
yeah, it kind of like happened by accident. And then, when you do something that works, you kind of keep going to the well. So when Matt Scherzer of the Mets bought a house in northern Nassau County, we did the same for that.
Yeah.
And that did really well. That's probably on your list too.
Yeah, that's one of the top ones.
Yeah, so virtual tours are good for business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So thank you to the realtors.
Yeah, and it's like a way to like make a promise in the headline that then they get and they feel like, oh, that was here's the virtual tour.
Yeah, it's not 5 photos.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, click here. It's like virtual tour, and then you get it. You get the reward, which I think is important too when you're trying to build a brand around storytelling. Is you can get clickable headlines, but you have to reward them. And we do this a lot with our content too. Is there's the clickable headline? Here's 4 things you can do for your restaurant, but you better deliver on the 4 things.
Yeah.
Give them the 4 things. Otherwise,
you kind of lose trust when you just start trying to bait people and make them click on something and not provide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all been burned when we Googled something and it's like 4 things, like open for lunch.
Yeah.
Clean your bathroom. Like I've been on lists like that, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody about you, and we were talking about like what stories go really well, and they were talking about the guides that you write and stuff, and they were like, oh yeah, that sounds cool, like a guide to like Long Island beaches, and I'm like, no, because the people that live on Long Island, don't tell me about the beaches. I live here.
Yeah.
Like, so don't. And you see that kind of stuff. Oh, there's the beaches on the South Shore, and there's the beaches in the East End. And like you got to go deeper. You got to deliver value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like here's where you could find the best like seashells on Long Island.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Get specific with it.
And
Best live music.
and it has to do with going back to what I had said earlier about initiative.
Finding.
So the reporter who wrote the list about where to find the best seashells on Long Island didn't just Google, a list of beaches like for the beach guide.
Yeah.
They actually went out and found out for themselves where the best seashells are.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Is you got to go deeper to be different. That's important. Because any journalist from anywhere can Google beaches on Long Island, whip together a guide. But it's just it's not gonna work.
Yeah. It goes back to you, kind of criticizing the ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT isn't going to go to the beach and pick up seashells, So
I've seen some funny ChatGPT listicles too. Don't you bring it up?
Yeah.
It's like 5 places to get sushi on Long Island, and whoever's doing this stuff isn't even like editing the Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like if you like sushi and you live on Long Island, there are plenty of sushi options on Long Island. Here are 5 on Long Island that we think you would like for sushi. Oh my God. It's like the worst example of ChatGPT.
Someone just trying to get like
and they
SEO.
just crank it out. Everyone thinks they're going to get rich.
Yeah. But Google, I think, is onto it, and they've kind of changed their algorithm, and they're like rewarding more narrow, deep content as opposed to this fluff, because now with AI, people are flooding and trying to rank and trying to get page
Right.
views. So it's really more about quality over
Yeah.
quantity.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it'll
the human
adjust.
element is really important.
Yeah. There was another story that I saw that was like 130,000 page views, and it was a guy that won the lotto.
I know that story went crazy.
And I'm
I
like,
think
I
I
mean, it's cool for like that
Yeah.
guy and his friends, but like, I mean,
It was the Win for Life one, right?
10,000 a week,
Mhm.
I think. Yeah. So a guy won $10,000 a week for life.
Mhm.
And you guys reported on it. And tell me a little about that
I
one.
cannot tell you what it was about that particular lottery post, and I'm sorry to disappoint. It was in Bayshore, I believe, which is a core audience for us. We have a really engaged community there. Maybe more people are interested in Win for Life versus like a Mega Millions thing.
Mm.
Maybe the store that they bought it at. I remember the store. Maybe a lot of people
Stop
buy
there.
their scratch offs there and go there. But I cannot for the life of me tell you why that went ballistic and other ones don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, like you know how to write a story, you know how to write a hook, you know how to engage people, you know how to make it go viral. But at the end of the day, it really is up to where you're sharing it and the
Sure.
platforms and whether or not they pick it up.
Mhm.
So there's an X factor.
There's always an X factor. Yeah, we get taken by surprise sometimes where we're writing something that we didn't really think would do that well, and it did. And then we'll write. I remember one time I wrote a story about I don't want to give too much away, but a local student in one of my core areas that was in overseas, Iraq or Afghanistan, and befriended a dog, and worked hard to get the dog sent home to his mother, and the dog would be waiting for him when he came back. It just like had every like checkbox,
Sure.
local kid, dog, war soldier. He wasn't a veteran at the time, soldier. It just seemed like the perfect thing that I actually called my server company and said, temporarily increase our bandwidth because the site's going to crash from the traffic that I'm about to get. And this story did nothing.
Oh.
And to this day, I have no idea why.
Yeah.
Seemed like a nice young man.
Yeah.
The dog was cute enough, I thought. But yeah, and the story did nothing. And then
Crazy.
I wrote a story about the Express store closing in South Shore Mall in Bayshore, and it just went like blew the doors off everything.
Really.
And I have no idea why.
Yeah. Interesting.
Fascinating. Yeah.
So but those are
Really.
the exceptions. For the most part, we know like when something's good,
Yeah. Yeah.
just from doing this for so long.
Yeah. So I guess what I wanted to do is kind of, establish the baseline that, you kind of know your stuff. I think you got 10 million page views last year to your website, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, 9.85 or something.
Which is awesome. And you're constantly putting out stories. You're constantly, you get your finger on the pulse, especially of Long Island consumers. And while I have you here, one of the things I wanted to do was really talk about, like with our clients who are restaurants, a big part of what we promote is your brand story to make you unique. And I think that a lot of restaurants understand this. They realize that everybody sells cheeseburgers, everybody has chicken fingers. The story is what's proprietary and what is really driving that unique experience. And I think it's one thing to understand it, it's another thing to write it. And then it's another thing to really incorporate it throughout your marketing and incorporate it throughout your marketing plan.
Keep
Brand, yeah.
reinforcing it, right?
Yeah. So I think I kind of wanted to use our time a little bit to go into that a little bit. And there's some great examples of brand stories that you've written for restaurants. But did you want to like kind of go through that a little bit? If someone is looking to curate a story for their brand, what's the best way to kind of approach that? Because restaurant owners are not journalists, or their marketing teams are not journalists. And I think a lot of people they get caught because they're biased. Like, oh, we have buy one get one bottles of wine on Wednesday. That's our origin story is wine. It's like they don't know what to look for.
Right.
How can you help them understand the key components of a good brand story?
Well, I think just to backtrack, not backtrack, but just to lay a foundation here. I had said earlier how the consumption of content has changed tremendously, and if it's decades ago, a couple decades ago, and people are getting all their information locally from local TV news and local newspaper. Um, Again, you have your captive audience, so they bought this newspaper, they're committed to it, and if they go to their dining section, they're looking at the dining section, and maybe you bought an ad that said, your example, 2 for 1 wine down Wednesday. So that is going to get seen, right? Because people are in the dining section, they're reading this stuff. They're going to see your ad that says about, your wine deal on Tuesday, Wednesday night. If you float that out into the universe of social media, no one is going to see it. Just
Gets
no one's going to
diluted.
see it. So they really do have to engage the audience, and the only way to really do it is what we're talking about, like journalistic sort of methods.
So how would you take something like that, like Wine Down Wednesday, and
Mhm.
kind of flip that into something that was a little bit more sticky for
Mhm.
social media and just for today's tactics?
I would focus on. I would feature a local Long Island vineyard, and if you want to talk about print or video, I would do video, and I would I would take a drive out to the vineyard, and 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 kind of BS with the winemaker for like 14 seconds and say, so I'd capture their attention with that.
Yeah.
Get to meet this local guy, tell us why this vintage is so wonderful, and then when you have their attention, say, come try it on Tuesdays where we have two.
Yeah.
You could try it for half price.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what I
you
do.
got to tie something in that's deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're leading with people
Right.
is the guy. And then there's also something different that no restaurant does, which is get in the car and drive out to the vineyard.
Right. Initiative.
Right? Yeah, initiative.
Yeah.
And that's that you're going deeper. So, don't phone it in. Like get it out there on social media.
Yeah.
Two bottles of wine, one of them's crossed out. So you get the idea. Like
you get the idea.
go pick the grape off the vine and be like, this is what's inside the bottles of the
Right.
wine that we offer.
Yeah.
And then, I think the other thing about that we always talk about is you're selling the unique experience at that point.
Yeah.
You're not selling the commoditized cheap wine.
Mhm.
It's not like, well, the place across the street is full price on Tuesdays. We're half price.
Right.
Come to us. You're saying you can't get this experience across the street because you don't have the relationship with the winery like we have.
Right.
Yeah.
And now people are saying, man, I'm willing to go check that out, and I'm willing to pay whatever it is. I don't care. And I think that's where sort of our two worlds meet
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't have if you don't have a Long Island wine on your menu, go get one. So you could
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Mhm.
Or what was I gonna say? I had a good thought, but it escaped me.
Yeah.
Happens to the best
I
of
mean,
us.
you're resonating with your audience when you're doing something like that instead of just, as you said, like listing that like buy one, get one wine, like showing the grapes that are being bottled for that wine. Now people are interested. People can actually like taste the wine that they're going to order and, drive them to this restaurant to try it.
Right, and then they could
Yeah.
make the decision.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
bad. What'd you think? They built it up too much. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You're talking about your restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
this
you're piquing
winery.
interest. Mhm.
Right, and the local thing. It's a way to show that you support local, which people
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
trust building and stuff, and giving back to the community. All that stuff is kind of like
Yeah.
inherent, like
Sprinkled in.
weaved into this
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah. I think that's like when we're talking about brand story, which is a little bit of a bigger picture. We want to tap into something. We want to tap into family or heritage or ingredients or community or overcoming, adversity. So in terms of like a brand story, like we highly recommend to the restaurants we work with to put together a brand story to make you unique, and then we try to weave that into the menu and the marketing, promotional items that we do. What thoughts do you have on how to curate a brand story, which is more of sort of an evergreen kind of, fundamental story?
Um, so am I trying to put myself in the head of the restaurant owner,
Let's say
trying to tap into something?
let's say it's a pizza place
Okay.
in a suburban town, and it's one of 10 pizza places,
Okay.
and family owned, mom and pop, and they're trying to differentiate themselves from the 9 other places that are within 5 miles.
Mm.
What can they do with their story on a brand level? And then it'd be fun to do it also like on a kind of a micro ingredient, service offering level. But like on a brand level, like what can they tap into? Because they have the same ovens, they order from the same cheese place, right? It's a similar price. What can they do to curate a brand story that makes it feel like a unique experience?
I think that has to be fully an emotional, like attachment play. Like, tell a story that makes someone who's reading it say, "Those seem like really good people. Like I really want to support them."
Yeah.
And if you could pull that off, then you'll be way ahead of the other 9 pizzerias. How you do that?
Yeah, it depends.
I can
on
sit
the-
with you for 2 hours and we'll figure it out.
Right.
But what you're saying is the people are what's proprietary.
Absolutely.
It's different people.
Yeah.
So you got to tap into the story.
You
of-
start telling them how you only use the finest San Rosano tomatoes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to do it.
Start to become a commodity again.
Yeah.
Right, because down the street they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You can't make it product specific.
Yeah.
Right? It's got to be people specific.
Or like a fun, if you want to just catch your attention, then maybe you have maybe your best seller is some sort of specialty pie and you have a fun story behind it. Like your 6-year-old said, "Why don't you just throw olives on it and throw this?"
Yeah.
And it's sort of turned into this thing, and now it's like this big hit.
Yeah.
And then you can create a little buzz around it. And then people are like, "Oh, try that. Do you know that the owner's 6-year-old invented this?" If you have something like that.
Yep.
But it's hard. I mean, I think it's, like I said, I could sit with you for 2 hours until I know that's what I need. Or sometimes it happens in 10 minutes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you would recognize, like, as the owner of this pizzeria, what would hit and what wouldn't.
Sometimes that's how you almost know it's the best stuff.
When they
It's like,
don't know.
this old machine.
Yeah.
Tell me about this. Oh, well, it's from World War II. And it's
Yes.
like, wait a second, this is how you make pizza.
Right. Yes.
But I think that's important in driving a unique experience is tapping into that story.
And I think you want people to be like, I like Mario's, but Lenore's is it's good. The grandmother started it. The kids keep it going. I like that. Let's go there. Let's go to Lenore's tonight.
Yeah. So start throwing some curveballs at you.
Okay.
Another
This is fun.
another example.
Like, whose line is it anyway?
Let's say it's a full service restaurant concept and they're growing. They're in growth mode.
Mhm.
And as they grow, we've seen in our world that as they grow to past 2 or 3 locations, once they get their proof of concept and they try to scale from 5 to 10, they're moving away from where they started.
Mhm.
And it starts to dilute their brand a little bit. It's brand new people who don't know who they are. It's not the people that used to go over here, but now the new place is closer, so it's great. It's new people in new markets.
Mhm.
What's a good way to kind of overlay a story, to inject in that experience, or maybe there's a few examples of how this could work.
It's interesting because I wrote recently about a restaurant that opened their 9th location on Long Island. I don't know if I'm allowed to name
Sure.
specific
Yeah.
places, but I wrote about the tap room that had opened their 9th Long Island location in Ronkonkoma. This wasn't paid advertising; it was news that they were opening their 9th location. And someone commented on Instagram. My partner put it up on Instagram. "Oh, that's just what we need: more chain restaurants." So now it dawned on me that they're at this place where people think they're like like Applebee's or something.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right, yeah.
so. Was it tap room? But yeah, you get to a spot I think where people, because not everyone pays so much attention
Yeah.
to like which restaurants are owned by the Lessings and which are Scotto Brothers and which are Pole restaurants. We kind of know all this because we're in that world,
Yeah.
but most people don't. So if they're just living their lives and they see tap room and they see tap room when they see toast and they see toast, I don't know if it's there's a percentage of people I think that probably think it's like it's some big national chain that just
Right,
you know
yeah.
that you know
It's a
happens to
mattress
be
firm. All of a
around
sudden,
them.
there's 20 mattress firms.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I think you just have to just keep reminding people where you came from.
Yep.
And I think it holds even more true as you get like huge. So now you have 300.
Yeah. Because you still want to differentiate yourself
Yeah, like
from that corporate.
I would rather support the major restaurant, not to cut you off, Jenny,
That's okay.
that was grown organically from like two brothers from Sicily, than like a restaurant concept that was like created in a lab, like in a boardroom. Like, you know, these guys have this Tex-Mex. We need a Tex-Mex chain, you know, and let's just start building these things all over the country. Ruth's Chris is my favorite version of that. I have this weird connection to Ruth's Chris because I've read the story on the back of their menu about where they came from and how Ruth was this single mother. I forget how she ended up being single or a widow or something. And she needed to support her children. She had some money. She opened this little place and she ran it herself. And it became this like massive phenomenon. And now
Wow.
everyone knows what Ruth's Chris is. Obviously, it got
I mean,
bought
I
out by a
didn't.
big company.
Before just now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
So
should go there. This is good.
So yeah, so now I like Ruth's Chris. I think it's really cool that this woman in New Orleans, I think 80 years ago, her restaurant still exists, and I
Yeah.
want to support that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Tell us the Dave Thomas story. Like your mom, like
Oh, Dave Tom, and yeah, right. I had a front row seat to this. So the case study, Wendy's is an interesting case study because they were really struggling. Even with the, you know, where's the beef catchy thing, they were really struggling in the 80s. And they had the bright idea. Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, who named Wendy after his daughter, and he's got a fascinating story. Google it right now. Get off the podcast. The company was struggling, so they decided to bring him out of retirement, but not just bring him out of retirement for quality control, bring him out of retirement specifically to get on television and tell his story. That's what the whole thing was about. And so I'm Dave Thomas, and I invented Wendy's. I named it after my daughter, and my philosophy was we were going to sell fresh patties. Everyone was doing frozen, blah, blah, blah. It was such a huge hit that they just kept, you know, for 6, 7, 8 years until he passed away. He was doing commercials for Wendy's. And my mom would always drive by McDonald's. If we needed to get something quick, she would drive by the other places, and she would specifically go to Wendy's because she liked Dave Thomas. And I do a perfect impression of my mother. She goes, I like Dave Thomas. I think he's like someone I think I could trust. She believed that man would never let anything bad happen to her.
Nope.
The food will be unadulterated. The bathrooms will be clean, you know, because Dave Thomas said this is the move.
yeah.
Dave
And-
Thomas is like the advocate, the arbiter of all Wendy's products. He's there
Right, yes,
at
yes.
Cleaning the
everyone,
bathrooms,
Yeah.
making the
making
burgers.
sure that
Yes.
the quality is high.
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so it was an emotional thing, and he, you know, and she felt like, you know, he wouldn't be up there saying these things if I couldn't trust his food product.
Yeah. And it's funny, there's something in marketing, in advertising called last mile marketing. And you can do Super Bowl commercials and you can do all kinds of things. But when someone gets off the exit of the highway, there's a Wendy's on the left, there's a McDonald's on the right. Even if they came to go to McDonald's because they saw the sign and there was no sign for Wendy's, there's a moment where they go, Wendy's, right? And they just change their mind. And it's you never know what goes through the process. I mean, it could be a million things in that car.
Sure.
I hate McDonald's. Somebody in
Yeah.
the back seat, like.
Yeah.
But that's where brand. I think someone like your mom might be like, we're going to McDonald's. Oh wait, there's a Wendy's. Drive one more block up the road,
Hmm.
and that's the kind of intangibles of it that I think are really interesting. You know, in terms of just marketing and brand and perception.
Totally, yeah. Throw a
Yeah, and you
Taco
can
Bell in there.
and
it's
you
like,
can never, I know, and you can never like do it enough, right? Like, you have to consistently remind people like who you are, where you came from, what you're
Yeah.
trying to do, because it's never going to be 100% saturation. Not everyone's going to know this thing.
definitely.
Right.
Um,
Time passes, so you have to consistently reinforce and sometimes tweak the story or try to connect to new generations,
Mhm.
connect to people, and you know, not necessarily change the story because it's you don't want to do that, but find ways to make it resonate with all
Yeah.
generations,
right.
right?
It's a great point. Like you look at some of the classic, amazing advertising campaigns, Aflac Duck, Geico Caveman. They had to like after a while, these things do have a shelf life,
Mhm.
right? They had to like reinvent the commercial a little bit, and then eventually they had to like shelve the caveman for like years. And then I just saw one the other week.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'm,
he's
I'm like, oh,
back.
he's back.
The
you know?
caveman was
Yeah.
rebranded.
Yeah, the
Also,
cave- yeah,
like
the
he's
cave-
he's come
Yeah.
back differently than
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah, the caveman was funny. Insurance is so interesting because I think Geico was the first to really do this, like humor,
yeah,
because it's you know, it's such a sort of, you know, pencil pushing sort of industry. It's
Right.
hard to make it like it's not visual, I guess
No.
is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Yeah.
So when Geico started doing that, now every insurance commercial has to be funny.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
But yeah, when I remember when I first saw that caveman throw down his boom mic and storm off,
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. And then he's trying to apologize to him at dinner with the other caveman, and he's like, "I'm not hungry." The one caveman goes, "I'll have the roast duck with the saffron risotto or something,"
yeah, yeah,
and the other one goes, I don't really have it."
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, so
great.
they pushed it and then they restarted. But yeah, that's lightning in a bottle.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You know.
Well, I think like engagement, really another way to really drive that is like to create like an emotional connection, which could be pulling at your heartstrings. It could be, I know that guy, he's local. It could also just be funny.
Yeah, making people laugh
If it's
is
funny,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that
Right?
always
it's like everyone's best friend. Like
Yep.
everyone loves to be around someone who can make them laugh.
yeah,
And if you made me laugh, this brand made me like crack up, like sitting there by myself. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. And
There's a little trust there too.
Mhm.
Insurance is tough because it's boring. Like restaurants are not boring, so there's a lot more to play with. But
Yeah.
like Aflac, you know, stands for American Family Life Assurance Company, AFLAC.
Nice.
Mhm.
And then
Really good.
Breaking down the acronym.
yeah, for years they were the American Family Life Assurance Company, and somebody was like, we gotta change this
yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's
And I would have loved to be in that pitch room where it was like,
fuck.
we're just gonna do a doc that quacks and says Aflac. Like, you know, I mean that was,
I wonder how many people were against that idea.
I'm
You know,
sure,
there's gotta be.
but
Sure, they were fired.
Yeah.
it changes the game though, you know. And I think that's kind of like, don't be afraid to be daring,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And with restaurants, like I said, it's already visual, it's already trending, it can go viral so easily. Just inject a little bit of that personality to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this way, just to do it, like some, restaurant owners might not feel comfortable in front of the camera.
Right, right.
So, you could give your hostess $150 and send her out to the vineyard and tell her to go interview the winemaker. There's ways around it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like they don't have to be on camera to get something viral out there,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, like, obviously we all know, like, on social media, restaurants, the reels, like, that food porn, like, just constantly in your face. But it is good to have something that's different, that's not that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That actually gets to, like, the deep root of, like, who the restaurant is, their mission, why they started, and, like, bring their values into the light, you know?
Yeah, like you said, you got to like stand out.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like the foodie influencers are like, like you said, the caveman ran its course. Like, like a lot of people are making fun of them now because it's become so predictable.
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, if you haven't heard
Yeah.
of this restaurant in the West Village, you have been living under a rock. We ordered the penne pasta, and oh my God, it is unbelievable. And it's just so funny. Like I just kind of repeated someone else making fun of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We
that's
both
when you know
immediately
you
knew
better
what you were talking
you better
about.
try doing something new.
But real always, not reels, but real, like
Mhm.
always wins.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like if you're trying to promote penne pasta and you have an influencer come in, like that trended for a while, eventually that's just going to die out. I'm sure something else will be reborn, but there's nothing better than going in the back and then Vinny is there
Right.
and he's like, what do you want from me? I'm in the middle of my shift. Like,
Yeah.
I'm making, what do you make? I'm making the penne. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that
Like,
stuff will be
that's
much-
real.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's always going to play well.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, there's humor there, you know, and as you said, like making people laugh is huge.
yeah.
If I can look at something and I smile, like I will remember that place for
Yeah.
sure. You know.
Yeah, and if you do something, say 12 months out of the year, you do nice business, but for some reason on Super Bowl Sunday, everyone goes to you in the neighborhood for wings and you sell 30,000 wings. Document it,
Mhm.
you know,
Oh yeah.
pay
Yeah.
someone to come and film it and talk about it and give us some behind the scenes of how crazy it is in your kitchen when in the run up to Super Bowl. Like
Definitely.
how the heck do you prepare 30,000 wings? You know, so you kind of hone on some cool stuff that you do and sort of like lean into that.
Yeah.
I guess it's a new term.
Sure. And like that, who knows when you might like you document it now, and now you have like advertising for next year for the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and some urgency, like order now because this is how it gets, you know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
so there's
Right.
always like the strategy behind documenting anything, really.
Yeah, and guess what? You punch through all the noise on social media. Now it's post Super Bowl and it's still going crazy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But now, like all these people now know your name who might not have heard of
Exactly.
you before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is like something that's evergreen because I think that in order for something to really take off, it requires repetition. People need to see it over and over again in order to remember it.
Mm.
So Super Bowl is great, but you know the day after Super Bowl, it's over. I kind of like the idea of like when we do menus, we ask the restaurant, we say, "What's your standout item?" If I was going to come here and have one bite of one thing, what would that item be? And a lot of times we engineer the menu to make that more prominent,
Mhm.
right? But I think that really on a marketing level, to just go deeper on that item.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna throw another curveball at you.
Mm.
What are some good ideas if we have a client who says my signature dish is the Cuban sandwich, for some reason it's just not selling. So we're going to re-engineer the menu and we're going to make sure that it's prominent and that it sells and that it's an eye magnet and that people see it. What can they do? Because once that menu is printed, that's great for the people in front of the menu. But what about the millions of people
Yeah.
that are not in the restaurant?
Get them in for
Like,
that.
how
Cuban
can
sandwich.
you build a story around an item that's profitable and popular, or they want to be popular for the restaurant? So now it kind of really pulls that whole thread through of what their business model is, the items they want to sell, and now their marketing strategy.
Okay, so you want to draw attention to the Cuban sandwich in particular.
Yeah, it's something that we do it's unique. You got to try it. Anyone who tries the Cuban sandwich loves it, and it's really makes us different than other people. If I could get every person in the city to come and try one bite of this Cuban sandwich, we'd be set for life.
I got it. Oh my God, guys. If you haven't tried this Cuban sandwich, we don't know what to tell you. And look at that
Sold.
cheese pull. Well, for one, if I think the idea of focusing on like one particular item that you think will catch people's attention, right? Because this is what we keep coming back to, like kept catching people's attention in a very noisy sort of landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, if your Cuban sandwich is so good, why don't you just like get on video and like show us how to make it? You know, I think people are like, whoa, I don't want to give away my secrets. You know, you don't have to say every component of it, but
Sure,
just, show us, right? Show, don't tell in writing.
Mhm.
Show us what makes your Cuban sandwich so good, because I can't, I'm home on my phone. I can't taste it right now.
Right.
But, what makes it so good?
Yeah, it's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just a 30-second video, you making this thing and highlighting some like, most people do this with the pickles, but we got our pickles from this place. Cool stuff like that, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think the headliner, like focusing on like a headliner to get them in, and maybe they get there and they don't feel like having a Cuban sandwich that day, but they get something, right? You got them in the store, you got your name in front of them.
Yeah.
I think that's important. And a lot of times theaters will reach out to me, and I think this is a relevant anecdote, and they'll say, "Oh, we want to buy a featured event about this show that's not selling." And I think that's like the worst approach, because I think what you should do is buy a featured event of a show that's already sold out practically, because that means it's a popular show. So if people see it and it's this artist or this show that people are really interested in, they'll click to buy tickets, and maybe it's sold out already, or maybe they can't go that date. But now you got them on your website; they can see your whole lineup.
Yep.
But when you want to float some no-name thing that's not selling to begin with, and now you're paying someone else to circulate the fact that you have terrible shows, it's just like counterproductive.
Right.
So take that big ticket item and just splash that. You're proud of that, right?
The decoy.
Show us why your Cuban's so good. Why you're so proud of it.
Yeah. No,
Where's the passion come from?
That's a great point. It's almost, and this is a good segue into the other thing I wanted to talk about. We've talked with hundreds of restaurants about all different types of things, and a lot of what we get is like, nobody comes here for lunch. Like Friday night, Saturday night, like we're packed, can't get anybody here for lunch. Well, the reality is that you're a Friday night, Saturday night place. So if you want to be a lunch place, you got to kind of change your story, change your concept. But the same reason people are coming on Friday, Saturday after work, after they're done, is the same reason why they're not coming on Tuesday, because they're at work, right? And then on Fridays they want to blow off steam. So I think a lot of, and I'm just personally interested in this, a lot of restaurants are trying to fill those gaps.
Yeah.
I wish I had more tables on Saturday night. Tuesday afternoon, there's nothing going on. So then insert gimmick night, insert trivia, insert open mic, insert wind down Wednesday, insert happy hour. And so many times people have said, I don't know, like this is the best deal in town. Still nobody's coming. It's 10-cent wings and dollar beers, and I can't get anybody to come. And I think that's the wrong way to do it, right? Because first of all, even if people do come, then they're going to come for that, and you're going to be known for that, right? So what are some good ways to take some of these weeknights and flip them and put a story behind them, and put a marketing strategy behind them, and start with maybe a trivia, right? Like a trivia night.
That's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, introduce you. Like I've been to trivia nights. Typically, the host is personable and charismatic and interesting in and of themselves. So I would just say meet Jenny. She's the host of our Trivia Night Tuesdays. She grew up in Arizona, moved here to be an actor, and between jobs, we're lucky to have her here. And quote her, like this would almost be like a little profile, little 9-paragraph profile that could also be used on social media, with some video of you in action doing trivia.
Right.
Like tell us about, if I'm at home, I want to think, oh, she seems funny. That'd be fun. Let's do that.
Let's go see Jenny.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the same idea as telling the story of the Cuban sandwich. You can't get that across the street. You can't get that experience across the street.
Right.
Yeah, and it's better, I think, to do it that way too, with the personal, because then it's like on the other side of it is you're discounting things to get people in, and now you just become a discount brand, right? So it's like, come in for trivia and get half off while trivia is going on. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go because of the cheap drinks, and that's the only time I'm gonna go. Instead of like the other side is like, go for the person and then pay full price, which people will do if they're,
Yeah,
you gotta wanna.
Yeah. And then another one is happy hour. So people are quick to do happy hour because nobody comes in from 4 to 6 anyway. Let's try to get people in early before the dinner rush. What are some ideas about happy hour or trying to fill those weekdays?
So is the question, because there's two components. So I answered the last question with, it's more like how to spread the word about it, right? So you have what's a good idea for a concept, and then what's a good idea to spread the word. So I'm focusing on the answer of how to spread the word about it. You have a trivia night. Your trivia host is obviously going to have charisma. So you're going to want to put him or her up
Right.
on social media in some form or the other, or through a website like mine. So as far as happy hour, then I would just do the same thing, a short profile of your happy hour bartenders.
Bartender,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I mean,
With
would
like
you?
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go
But
ahead,
like
go ahead.
if you pair it with like the cocktail that they make and add that to the happy hour menu.
Right.
Right. So now you're like, oh, I can meet this bartender and also
Yeah.
have this special cocktail that she makes. Like,
Right.
Sorry.
Each of your happy hour bartenders makes their own cocktail.
Mhm.
And you talk about them, you put a picture of them, you write about them, and then you mention that his or her, signature cocktail is blah, blah, blah. And then, now you caught my attention. And now you let me know that happy hour is from 4 to 7.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Make it like a
Monday through
mystery too.
Friday.
Like find out what their special cocktail is.
Yeah.
Only if you
Yeah.
come in. Like it
Yeah, once you
changes
have their
every night.
attention, then you could
Mhm.
you could sort of
Yeah.
tell them anything you want.
What I
So
like
come
about
up with a
that-
good idea, get attention, then tell them what it is. Don't just tell them what it is,
Right.
because no
Yeah.
one's gonna.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
You need the hook.
permeate. Yeah.
What I like about that too is you're not leading with a discount. So it doesn't have to be happy hour. You can go there and get that crazy, awesome cocktail from that bartender at any time.
Mhm.
And it's building more equity in the brand because you are highlighting your people and your process and your ingredients. So if you want to stick a happy hour in there, you can, but you could also take it out
Mhm.
as opposed to just selling happy hour and then trying to brand that night.
Right.
I think people do that. They do the buy one get one on the Wednesday, and then here's the Thirsty Thursday, and it's just I don't know if it's the best way to go about it.
Sometimes like less is more, and this is not a journalist perspective. It's just a consumer perspective I'm offering. Vincent's Clam Bar is packed right outside of Roosevelt Field Mall every day for lunch. Every day. You would think it's a Friday night. And they keep things simple. Everything on the menu is $16.95 for lunch.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing gimmicky. Just good food at a quality price.
Slightly less. Yeah. Economic.
But that's the repetition too. How many years they've been doing that?
Right.
And how many
Yeah.
years did they do that, sitting there twiddling their thumbs with an empty restaurant?
Mhm.
And I always remember we had a client, and she was director of marketing for a restaurant group, and she said their most popular nights, I think it was a Monday night in the summer. It's called Lifeguard Night,
Mhm.
and it's packed. You can't even get in. And I said, how did you build that up? How did you get that going?
Organic.
And she said, for the first year, nobody showed up,
Mhm.
but we kept it
Kept it
we
going?
kept it going for a year. We didn't try it for 2 weeks or 2
Mhm.
months and then stop.
Yeah.
We committed to the concept, and then we sat around by ourselves every Monday night for a year, and then now the thing just explodes.
Definitely.
And I think that's key is the
Yeah.
repetition.
It's
That's so
the-
funny. And
Consistency and persistence
Yeah.
is like the most important thing for especially for like new promotions or special nights. And like lifeguard night, like nobody else is doing that, right?
Right.
So like nobody's gonna know what that is. So you
Yeah.
have to continue to do it. Get some footage of the guy in the beach. What they have like the lifeguard chair, right,
Yeah,
or
the gun
something
lifeguard
like
chair.
some lifeguard chair.
Yeah.
Like get that content because next summer you're gonna start promoting it, and people are gonna start to show up because you've been doing it every Monday.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, I thought lifeguard night was organic. I thought the lifeguard just started hanging out there on Monday nights after like a busy weekend of
Right.
saving lives.
And they did after they didn't for a year. Eventually they did.
yeah.
So I thought they just labeled it after the fact that the lifeguards were already hanging. I didn't know that
Yeah.
they were like,
That was
you
a
know,
specific.
yeah, it was
But I
a
think
specific effort.
what's interesting is
Themed.
that you might try lifeguard night for 3 months and then be like, that concept doesn't work, and then you try, I don't know, industry night, and then you try that for three months and it doesn't work. You stick with it, and it's not necessarily a year of time.
Mhm.
It's an amount of times that they need to see it before it becomes front of mind.
Yeah.
I think that's where telling the story and distributing it, if you can get 100,000 eyeballs on that concept
Mhm.
in the first month,
Mhm.
it's going to be that much quicker to get that thing off the ground.
Yeah, like, you have to keep, you can never let up, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this company has ever let up marketing lifeguard night.
Yeah.
They do have a secret weapon. If it starts to slow down for a prolonged period of time, pay someone like me to write this epic story about lifeguard night, how it happened, and how no one they were just kicking rocks the first year, smoking butts outside, waiting for the lifeguards to come, and really tell that story in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know, if you have something that's like a phenomenon, whether it happened organically or on purpose, you know, and it's been 10 years now. Why don't you, you know, why don't you tell us how this all happens?
Right,
Because
right.
we're interested. Now we're interested.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
And then keep it going for another 10 years that way.
Yeah, yeah. And I think when you have a good story, you can report on it, as you know, and continue to update the story and tell different versions of the story. Like there's that Two Broke Bartender story that you wrote for Taproom that's done really well. But you could just you know, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, what if you like, who are the Two Broke Bartenders? Let's talk about one of them. Let's talk about where they're at now, right? Because now that was 10 years ago,
right.
And what are their plans for the future? And like, there's different ways to continue the story, right? Continue reporting on the story.
I would do like an episode of like MTV's Cribs with the Two Broke Bartenders now.
Yeah.
Versus when they started 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Not broke anymore, bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's the come up story.
Interview one of them in their in-ground pool, you know, take a picture of them in a tube.
Yeah.
No longer broke.
Yeah.
And just like a part two of the whole thing. Like, how's life now, right? You stuck to your guns and you worked hard. Yeah. And it was scary, but now look at you. How cool is this?
It's the same story, but now you're injecting some different components, some humor.
Sure.
You know, you're refreshing it, which I think is important too.
And I think it's important too as they grow and they get off of Long Island, you know, and they have 30 locations and all across the East End. The Two Broke Bartender story is still super relevant, but you know, as you said, like going deeper on the bartender, like you know, 15 years ago when they first started on each of them separately, and just kind of expand on the stories becomes even more important the bigger that you get, right? So you don't have these people being like, oh, look at this franchise opening up again. Like, don't we have enough of these? Like, it's not like that. It's like this, like here, like it's accessible to everyone, you know, like their history.
Yeah, it's accessible. And if you could interview someone who's sort of made it, so to speak, right, in an industry, now they have 30 units up and down the East Coast. It's a different story than if you interviewed them when they had 4 units.
Yeah.
And they have like so much more to tell at this point, right?
Right.
You know?
What they learned along the way.
Yeah. So
like,
keep refreshing. I think the point is keep refreshing that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bang them over the head early. Tell your story. Make sure your community knows about you, who you are, where you come from, what your goals are. You reach those goals. You know, refresh it in 10 years. You know, what's it like to own 30 restaurants?
Yeah.
Up and down the East Coast. I'm a curious person by nature. I have a ton of cool questions for someone like that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's 10 stories that that are offshoots of that story that are cut from the same cloth. That, you know, so if you're looking to like put together a social media strategy, or you're saying, okay, well, my story is told, now what? You can definitely go deeper and repurpose that story and that content, you know, in different ways.
Yeah. The story continues on.
Any more things you want to throw at me?
I have one.
Yeah.
So you started in 2015, Greater Patchogue. What are your plans for your 10-year anniversary?
Oh.
Any special event?
God, it is 10 years. Wow. No, I don't have any special thing planned. That would be July 1st of 2025.
July
10 years.
1st.
Is it lifeguard night?
Right? Is it a Monday?
Is it a Monday?
I want to party with lifeguards. Wow.
Okay,
Thanks for
okay. pointing
that out, Jen. Now I feel old.
Congratulations. I mean,
Thanks.
that's big.
Thank you.
So another thing is, where do you see this, your business going in the next 5 to 10 years, and this art of storytelling, and you know, where things are changing quickly with AI and everything that's going on? Like, what are you envisioning for you and for just this whole world moving forward?
Just to keep doing what we're doing. We got a great team, all like highly skilled, experienced journalists. You know, ramp up certain things. No, really just go like, we want to, add more depth to what we do, and trying to think of how to word this. Just it's not like we have some vision to be like uh, some website that has one in every state, and city. We just want to kind of like do. All right, let me back up. I asked
Mhm.
the same question of the owners of Painter's Restaurant when they reopened, bought the place after a fire, reopened it. And I said, where do you see yourself in 10 years? You want to like build up on the roof? Do you want to, like, we just want to be a better and better painters.
Yeah.
That's my answer. I just want to just get so damn good at what we do. I just want to be first to every story. I want to have visual elements to every story that capture people's attention. I want to grow the social media so it's just insane. And I want people to, when they think about where they get the news from on Long Island, I want
the
them to
first
think
thing.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think another way to look at that is you are, as far as Long Island is concerned, your website and your news is already, I think, the narrowest and the deepest. And your answer is to go narrower and deeper, which I think is like that's all anybody needs to know.
On
right?
brand.
So you're not going to Connecticut and Boston,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not diluting, right? You can go even deeper, even more town to town, and people will care more and engage more because that's the secret sauce. And I think
Right.
people get that shiny object syndrome where they say, well, we can go now replicate this over here and over there and over there.
Mhm.
But you go narrow and you go deep and you go more narrow and more deep, and then you become truly something unique.
Yeah, we have so many like, great ideas, and thanks for recognizing that and pointing it out to even myself. So many cool, great ideas. We just don't have like the time and the resources. So when we have, when we make more money, we just want to make it just better and better
Invest
and
it
better.
back in. Yep.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of cool
Yeah.
stuff we want to do. We just don't have the time and or the money.
yeah.
But that's what we're just
As,
kind of
as
doing.
long as you keep telling stories, I mean, everything else will come in time, I think.
Yeah, the baseline is to engage community,
Yeah.
tell people stories, hyperlocal, and all
Mhm,
that thing, all those things, and then we could add more bells and whistles as we go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love how all of your the articles, whenever I read an article, like I'll know exactly the ones that you write.
Mhm.
Like I don't know, you just have like this specific way of writing, and it's very like it's like personable. It's like a little funny, like it's like kind of casual. Like I'm like ChatGPT can't replicate this. Like there's
Yeah,
no way.
Thanks, Jenny.
That's
I-
Mike.
That's Mike.
I try to sneak a little something in,
Yeah, yeah.
if only to
You
entertain
totally do.
myself.
It's like conversational. It's like
Mhm.
someone's like telling you like what is going on in
Yeah.
the community. Like, and I think that is part of what makes you unique and different from the other guys, you
Yeah.
know, that are trying to do
Thank
the thing.
you.
And I think
That's awesome
people
to
are going to
hear.
get a sharper radar for AI content. They're going
Mhm.
to start to see. I can already sense. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it takes a little while, but people are going to get sharp and they're going to realize within a few words that this is not human.
Mhm.
And I think that that's where that really makes the difference in terms of creating that emotional connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could do the who, what, when, where just fine. They will be getting better at it.
Yeah.
Right now, ChatGPT, who, what, when, where is like riddled with odd uses of language and stuff,
Yeah.
explanation points.
Right.
And you're supposed to be better at prompting and blah, blah, blah. But, if you have a style that you're going for and
Yeah.
it's a fun little
Mm-hmm.
conversational style, and then you start dropping in like computer stuff in there, computer written things, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
but we'll see. I
All
think
right.
it'll help in some things like processes.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I use it to give me like for the talking points of this podcast. It's a perfect example. It spit out 30 different kind of talking points. I didn't recite those to you like verbatim. I use them to get my mind thinking so
Right,
that I
right.
could then put in my personality. and-
prompt.
yeah,
Right, right.
yeah,
Prompt
like a
yourself.
Yeah,
Prompt-
prompt myself.
prompting yourself, yeah. And sometimes we need that, you know?
Sometimes we need that.
Yeah, get the juices flowing.
So my final question.
Is this you or ChatGPT asking me this question?
Here is my last question. Unrelated to story, just as a business owner, what in your 10 years has been the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your business? Worst day on the job?
Um,
I'm going to ask everybody this because
Ugh.
it's just
I know mine.
Anyone who's listening who's a business owner is going to be like, yeah, I know mine. We've all had those days.
I can give you the boring answer is COVID. Because my clients were getting shut down. So I woke up one morning and I had a bunch of like emails that said, please pause my advertising. I have nothing to advertise.
That's
Right.
true.
So that was obviously my worst day, so to speak.
Okay, aside from COVID.
But aside from COVID, business wise,
Yeah.
or just like headache wise, like on like the journalism side of things.
Like, well, as a business owner, what was the most like stressful thing that happened, in your business, to your business, that really was like that was a rough day?
Okay, if I hem and haw at like 3 minutes, will it get edited out, or this is just goes in raw?
Raw. You have 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Otherwise, we're going with COVID.
Yeah, you might have to just go with COVID. I couldn't really.
I remember the website
okay.
went down.
Yeah, the
Once.
website
And
went
that's
down
like,
a couple times. Just woke up to like a white screen.
yeah.
What was the longest that
okay.
went down? Okay.
You know what sucked from a editorial perspective, but I guess it's my business. We broke the news in 20. Was the first Trump turned 16 to 20. In 2016, that Donald Trump was coming to Patchogue to speak. And we were I broke the news. And the website just went ballistic. Shit all over itself. Like my website was not
That's back when it was
great@patchogue.com.
Yeah, it was all subdomains and
Yeah, not even
it
so. It was
was-
just great@patchogue.com.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, the website crashed on my biggest moment, my moment to like show the island like
That you're on the.
I'm a journalist and I'm gonna get my scoops here too. And the website just trickled in. So I was on the phone with the server company and now there's some people and like what we're doing is there's like a line to get into your website. And we're letting a few in at a time, like a popular club. And eventually, a lot of people did read the story and everything worked out, but it was a very stressful.
That could have been like a
couple
like
hours.
an amazing moment.
Yeah,
To get
But it
that
was
many
almost a moment that
viewers.
had to happen because now you're like, well, okay, well, the only story that's bigger than that is this guy that wins the lotto in Bayshore. So when that happens in 8 years, we're gonna work out these kinks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, and the infrastructure's there. Like we really had some crazy amount of people on the website at once, like into like over 1,000 in 1 second. In 1 second.
One moment, yeah.
Wow.
And the website is the state of the website is strong.
Yeah.
It's taken the traffic loads no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's good,
really
yeah.
great.
The only way to
a lot of
really
those things like
know
help
that
us
problem is to break it.
experience it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta break it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So it's all part of it.
yeah. So yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
So there you go. Thanks for the prompt.
Yeah. So I guess any last thoughts for restaurant owners trying to like sit down with a pen and paper and think about their story? Any final comments that can really help them kind of unlock their get out of their own way and unlock their story?
Honestly, I would love to say like just look in the mirror, think about your trials and tribulations. But the easiest way is to like hire someone like me to sit with you for 2 hours until we figure that out. That's the easiest way. The other way is maybe ask your kids, like, what do you think's so special about what we do here? Like, try to get some perspective. Like, your customers, hey, why do you keep coming here? Is it me? Is it the food? What is it? Oh no, because blah blah blah. The staff, and you have, Barbara, your waitress, been here 40 years. She always gives us a big hug and kiss. And maybe do something about Barbara.
Yeah.
Throw it through ChatGPT. And tell us about Barbara. She's been there for 40 years, and your clients are telling you that they come here for her. Then why don't you use that? So like take some time to think about the people that care about you and love you. Why? And your clients, your most loyal clients. Why are they your most loyal clients? Ask them.
Yeah.
And then jot that down. And I think your sort of the story that you have to tell will start to emerge.
Yeah.
Yep.
The story is in there. It's in the building.
Gotta find it.
Like,
Right.
so you don't necessarily need to go find it. And the other thing I would say is look at other restaurants and their stories. You know, the people that are doing this well have their story on their website. It's on their menu.
Yeah.
Look at those kind of things. You know, whether it's a chef or specific ingredients, overcoming adversity, heritage, history, family. It's there. It's in there.
Mhm.
You know, it's the secret sauce. Pull it out and package it up and incorporate it into everything.
Yeah. Yeah. If you own a restaurant, you have some sort of story to tell. I mean, you didn't just, you know,
Out of nowhere.
yeah. I mean, even if you were born in the restaurant, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, you're washing
Born in the
dishes at 9
restaurant?
years old.
Oh.
Yeah, you were born on the floor of the,
Yeah.
of the
Like,
walk-in.
that's a story.
You took some olives and you threw it on the pizza, and that's how we came up with our signature pizza.
Yeah, I don't think anyone who's in restaurants doesn't have something interesting to
Yeah.
tell that got them there. I mean, it's like
I mean, it's such a
you
crazy.
could go to
industry.
school for
Yeah.
accounting, and now you're an accountant, right? Not that interesting.
Yeah.
How the hell do you own a restaurant? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
How do you run a
definitely.
restaurant? I mean, it's
Yeah,
I've learned
there's-
enough about the industry to know that it's not something that I would want to take on.
How
I
do you
mean,
sleep at
it's-
night?
How do you sleep at night? Yeah.
I mean, these people spend like $500,000 on a space that they leased. How do they sleep at night?
yeah,
You know, and all on the faith that this thing is going to work.
yeah,
Where's that come from?
yeah. It's a special kind of person.
Yeah,
All right, Mike. Well, appreciate having you.
great
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. Well, I was a little self-conscious, to be honest, interviewing an interviewer. So I'm feeling like
I think
did
you did a
okay.
good job.
Yeah, we did all right.
You guys
but
did great.
I appreciate having you on, and if anybody is interested in learning more about you and your organization, it's greaterlongisland.com.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you want to plug your site and talk a little bit about some of your advertising or.
Yeah, greaterlongisland.com. Or you could email me, Mike at greaterlongisland.com, or you can email our promotions head, promotions at greaterlongisland.com. But if you go to the website, there's a little button that says advertise. Rather than to ruin the entire podcast, going itemizing how we do advertising, just you can fill out that form and we'll get in touch with you.
Yeah. But just to bookend it, you offer writing stories as a service.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, talking about how can restaurants, you know, find the story, if they want, they can reach out to you and then
we
talk
meet.
to you about
Yeah,
how
we
to,
talk about how
Yeah.
we'll write your story and then we'll just distribute it 24 hours a day across Long Island organically through Meta, newsletters, push notifications, organic Instagram posts. If you go on the Instagrams at Greater Long Island, you'll see the type of engagement that we have.
Yeah.
You know, these posts get like thousands of likes and shares, and it's cool. I mean, we got a great team.
Yeah.
You know,
You
and
got
then,
a captive audience.
yeah, a captive audience,
Mhm.
and each advertiser has like a team of like 5 people, like worrying about them. You know,
Yeah.
like we really want to help people like make more money than they spend, or if their goal is to be like a household name. That's what we always say. Like this isn't like I spent 500, I made 600. That's not what I mean. I mean spend money with the long-term goal of like being like a household name in Long Island. Like
Building like
we want
that.
everyone to know who you are.
Yeah.
We work hard at it.
Yeah. All right. Well, until next time,
Talk.
thanks for
That's
calling,
great.
man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Thanks for having me.